Hello, hello, and welcome to Attitude. It is I, Danae, and today I bring to you guys a story time. I haven't quite figured out exactly what I'm going to title this yet, so I'll probably do that after the fact. But basically, this story is about how my friends and I accidentally went to a Scientology museum and had no idea. So let's get right into it. Last year, for the promotion of the new movie It, well, I guess it's not really new, but for the promotion of the movie It Chapter 2, Hollywood was doing a It experience. And I really wanted to go, my friends wanted to go, so we were like, let's go. Me, my friend, and my roommate, even though we're still friends, but me, my friend, and my roommate slash friend decided to go. And we get there, and I want to say we went around like maybe 7:30, 8 o'clock, but the line stops at 8, or it stopped at 8, I believe. So we couldn't go. Like the cutoff time for the line, for you to be in line, was 8 o'clock. And after that, like they didn't let anybody else in line. So they weren't letting anybody go in, and we were like, well, we're on Hollywood Boulevard, why don't we just walk and see what we find? And so we start walking, and we're like looking in buildings and whatnot, and there's like a bunch of souvenir shops. I believe we went into, was that before or after? We walked down Hollywood Boulevard, and as we were walking, we saw this building, and we were just kind of like, oh, what is that? And we go in, and we're just kind of like looking around. We go in, and the person is like, oh, there's tours going on like right now. If you want to go in, like you can go. There's a tour that just started. And we're like, okay, how much? And she's like, no, it's free. Like, you can just go. And we're like, oh, that's pretty cool. We can just go on this tour, okay. And so we go in, and we're on this tour. And at first it's very like normal looking, I guess you can say. Like, it's like going through like this history lesson of something, and then there were like all of these pictures, and there was these like things I don't fully remember exactly, because not gonna lie, I've been trying to forget everything that we saw. But I do remember thinking to myself, I don't remember if I said it to my friends, but I remember thinking to myself, this is like one of those like movie tours, this seems like. I wonder why this is free. Like, this is really cool. Like, it just seemed like a, not necessarily a movie tour, but like a movie tour. Like, how do I explain this? It seemed kind of like Hollywood history in a sense, if that makes sense. Like, I remember we turned the corner, and there was like space stuff. Like, it was like an alien and a spaceship, and like these big figures, and like it looked really cool. And then like there was like this like tree, maybe, if I remember correctly, with like stuff around it that looked really cool. Everything just looked really cool, and like, oh, this is kind of dope. Like, this is really interesting. There was like a theater, and it all just looked really interesting. And so as we're going through this tour, you know, I'm just taking it all in, and I'm like, oh, this is some really interesting stuff. We go to this theater, and they have like this presentation thing. It's like a video presentation, and we're watching this video presentation, and they're talking about like stress and anxiety and depression and all of that. And at the time, I was going through some of those things, so I was like really like, oh, this is really interesting. Like, tell me more. Like, help me navigate my way out of this. At the end of the video, they go on to talk about this book. And I remember seeing that book and thinking to myself, that book looks so familiar. Where do I know this book from? I feel like I know this book from somewhere, but I just can't place it. Like, I'm like, I can't fully place where I know this book from, but I know I've seen that book before. And so we go out of the theater, and then we go upstairs, because there's this upstairs section, tiny, and there's a bunch of the books plus a bunch of other books. And I'm looking at the books And then it hits me. I know exactly where I know this book from. So a few months prior to this moment, I had worked at Buffalo Wild Wings. Where Buffalo Wild Wings is at, there's like a courtyard type thing when you walk out. And so sometimes there will be like people there playing music, or people doing balloon animals, and they give it like to the kids, and like just a bunch of different things like that. And there was this one day that there was like this block party looking thing going on. I'll never forget. And I was going on my lunch break, so I walk out the door. I see this booth, I guess you could say, set up, and it's like, oh, stress and anxiety test. And it's like these two little things, and you hold on to the things, and then it tells you if you're like your stress anxiety meter level type thing. And like I said, at that time I was really like going through some stuff. Maybe I'll make a video on that. And I was like, I wanna see about this because I need some help. And so I go over to the booth and I do the whole test thing, and then they give me this booklet, and in the booklet they give me this little pamphlet, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is neat. They didn't give me the booklet, I take that back, I'm sorry. They gave me a pamphlet and a card. When I take it, I'm like, okay, cool. I'm really interested in this book. I'm like, this is great. I'm gonna learn how to deal with anxiety and all of this. I didn't buy the book right there, but I was like considering, like, I'm gonna come back and get this book. And so I remember walking away, and I'm flipping through the pamphlet, and then that's when I see it, and I'm like, oh, this is a Scientology thing. And I just kind of threw it away. I was like, let me not mess with that. And so when we went upstairs back at the museum, that's when it hit me. I was like, those are the books, the same books that they were trying to get me to buy at that booth. Oh my God, we're in a Scientology museum. Oh my gosh. And I believe I like look to my friends and I'm like telling them, and they're like, oh my God. And so now I'm just thinking, oh God, we have to get out of here. Like, we cannot stay here. I should probably mention that it was us, it was me, my two friends, and then one other couple. So there was only 5 of us on this tour. So we're upstairs, they're like going through all the books, and I'm just like, oh my God, I just want to get out of here. Like, I don't want to be here anymore. This is not me. I really need to leave. Like, it's really not sitting with my spirit now. And we go to the next little area, because upstairs it was really tiny. It was like this library of books, and then this other section that was like a table and some chairs, and I don't remember what else. But I remember on the table that stress test was there. And so the guy from the couple, you know, they're like doing the stress test, and he does it, and he's like calling these people out. He's like, no, this is BS. Like, if I just squeeze it too hard, watch. And he squeezes it, and he's like, see, the numbers go crazy, but if I do it lightly, they don't do anything. And like, sure enough, like, it didn't do anything. And so this guy's just going back and forth with the tour guide. Meanwhile, my friends and I are like, okay, how are we gonna get out of here? Like, how are we gonna escape? But like at the same time, we're kind of like intrigued listening to this conversation go on between the two, because like this guy is making some great points. And anyways, we finally go back down, and we go through like this kind of not really maze, but it's like the 10 Commandments, but God is not in it. And then there's like 30 other things added to it. And we're going through this, and it's like, you know, treat people with kindness and all of these types of things. And it's like good things, like I said, but like God isn't in it. And the people are like, oh, well, so do you want to buy the book? Do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? And we're just kind of like, oh, no, thank you. And they're really like pushing buying this book on us. And we're just kind of like, no, we're good. If I remember correctly, the couple darted out, and us being the naive young adults that we are, trying not to be mean, trying to let them down gently, are having this back and forth of no thank you. My one guy friend, they were like, you know, they were really like pushing it on him to buy this book, and he's like, yeah, you know, I mean, like, next time, and we're like trying so hard to get out of here, and we finally like make it to the end, and again, the same person that was like, oh, the tour's going on now, is like, buy the book. And they're pushing it on us so hard. They're just pushing on us to buy this book. And I'm having a whole anxiety attack on the inside, because I'm like, guys, we are in like probably, I don't want to say the worst place to be, but pretty close to it. And so finally we end up darting out of there, and we just kind of, I don't want to say we book it, but we kind of like book it. And like we take off down the street. We didn't run or anything, but we take off down the street, and we're all just like, okay, so you guys felt that weird vibe too, right? Like it wasn't just me. And we were all just like, I cannot believe we really got sucked into that. Like we really just got sucked into a Scientology museum. And I feel like I have to whisper it, because like I don't want anybody to like hear me, even though this is all over the internet for everybody to see. But it was just such a crazy, like, oh my gosh, like especially the moment of realization when I saw the books and then I put 2 and 2 together. It was like, I need to get out of here. We shouldn't be here. We've got to go. Like this is not, no, we need to leave like now. It was just so crazy. And then yeah, we left and we never looked back, and till this day I now know, do not under any circumstances take the tour if it's free and you have no idea what it's about. Don't do it. Do not do it. Lesson learned. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, because I make new videos every Monday and Thursday. Also, leave a like and a comment, and that's all I have. That's a wrap.